Hi, everybody. Welcome to Twist 2020. Good evening. I'm your host, India.Arie, and welcome to Twist 2020. Tough Women in Strange Times. Twist is a coalition of superstar female talent, women who are committed to rallying voters to the polls this election season, and nothing's more important than that. Twist is the brainchild of music legend Patti Austin. And tonight, you will hear from some of the best and most dynamic minds behind music and entertainment. You will meet the mothers, the grandmothers, the aunties, and the sister friends. And you may even hear from some of your ancestors too. So let's get this started, shall we? You guys in? Can't hear you. Oh, okay, nobody's there. Yeah, you guys are there. Nice to see you. With more than 20 solo recordings, this Grammy Award winner and multi-genre artist has worked with some of the biggest names in American music, including Quincy Jones, Paul Simon, and Roberta Flack, as well. And how do you keep the music playing of Twist, the incomparable Miss Patti Austin. How are you?
Here we are. Hi. How you doing?
I'm so good. Look at
I can't.
And our culture. Tell me about Twist 2020. Where did it come from and where is it today?
Well, we have to go back, believe it or not, because it's troglodytes. I'm good friend. Okay, she didn't say anything.
I'm here.
There you are. So I called Julie, and Julie called me actually and said,
okay, so you can hear me, but maybe you can't see me. Ah, there we go. Ah,
she is.
Hi, Patti. Hi, Tanika.
Hey, Julie.
All right, so behind me are some of the cast of the Love, L-O-V-E, Let One Voice Emerge video that we did in 2012. You'll be seeing many of these women in animated form soon. But so I've spent a lot of time doing voter engagement videos and campaigns. And I called Patti and I said, women are not voting in the numbers they should be. Single women in particular at that time in 2012 were the largest group of non-voters in the country. And I'd done a lot of research alongside of an organization called Women's Voices, Women Vote. And we realized that if we just reached out to these women culturally, not politically, that they would see that they were seen, that people understood who they were and were reaching out to them saying that if you vote, you have the power to decide, which is kind of where we are again, still.
Full circle, full circle. So Julie asked if I could put together a bunch of really cool people to come up with a kind of an anthem to drive this idea home. So, of course, when I'm getting ready to write a song with some brilliant people, I call Brenda Russell. So I called Brenda Russell. Brenda, are you there?
Oh, here.
There she was. And Brenda, what happened? I called you and you said, Brenda, you want to write a song about voting? And you said what?
I say yes.
See what I'm saying? So Brenda said yes. So then I called Siedah and I said, Siedah, you've got to work with Brenda and I and Mervyn Warren, who's not here because he's just not a girl. And then you will come and join us and help us write this anthem that Julie has described. And so I called Siedah and Siedah said, not a damn thing again.
Wait, do it again.
There she is. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Hey, Siedah.
I said, hell yeah. That's what I said. She said, hell yeah. So now,
hell yeah.
Writing team, we're ready to go. Brenda and Mervyn and I are sitting there. We've hit the writer's wall. We've got the idea for the song that we got from Julie. We almost think we might have a pocket or a groove, but we don't really know what we're going to call it. And we know that the song has to have something to do with your personal voice emerging through your vote.
But we didn't
And
have
then-
any of those words.
No, we had none of those words. And we were waiting for Siedah to save us. And Brenda, pick the story up from here.
Thank you. I love this part. So our dear Siedah, we're waiting an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours.
Oh my God, it
I
gets
know.
longer every time we tell this story. I'm later and later. Go ahead. Brenda.
In comes our beautiful Siedah with a bottle of champagne, and she's dancing into the room. And we're sitting there like banging our heads on a wall. We have, what do we say with LOVE? What do we say? And she takes not even a minute. Well, what about let one voice emerge? And we just look at her like, what? She just
It
nailed
was
it.
in that moment that my brilliance was revealed.
That's right, baby.
Timing, Siedah. Good timing.
And Siedah, please share quickly why you were carrying champagne and being
Yes.
rightfully the most obnoxious woman in the room. Hit it.
Was that the year I was nominated for my second Oscar?
Oh,
I think
Oh
so.
my goodness.
Was that? Yeah, perhaps. It was so much fun writing with you guys. And this song became like a voting anthem, and it was very pertinent and energetic, and it was fun, and the video was amazing. We got to hang out and tell stories and teach younger sisters that their vote is important. Their voice needs to be heard. Let one voice emerge. And that's how this came to be.
That's it. So now we'd like to show you the fruit of our labors. We're gonna roll right into because I know you're totally curious about what the hell does this song sound like and what does it look like? And I'm just gonna give you one little spoilers alert. There's a lady named Layla Hathaway at the end of this song that sings a lick that made us all run into the studio and beat her to. Here we go. Let one voice emerge. 20.
One voice means more than you know. Remember that you have a say. It's your one chance to channel your hopes. So don't let this chance slip away. 'Cause everyone matters. It might seem like a whisper, something no one else will hear. But if we're together, truth grows louder and louder. Speak from your conscience with nothing to fear. L-O-V-E. Oh, let one voice be heard. Let one voice be heard.
Yes. You guys
See?
did an incredible job. And Patti, can I just tell you, you do not have to say that that was done in 2012. That is pertinent today.
I was going to ask you, do you think that still works? I mean, it's kind of a great song, isn't it?
100% it still works.
Yeah.
I mean, look, 2015 wasn't that long ago, and it feels like we're dealing with the same issues today. So
Yeah.
y'all can release that one more time. But I have to say, songwriters, we had some singers, but we have to bring in Miss Sheila E to talk about her contribution. Sheila, are you here?
I am here. How are you?
There's my Bubala. Where are you?
Can't see you. Oh, there she is.
I'm here.
Hi, darling.
There you are. Hi, honey bunny.
Hi.
Just tell us if you have any kind of memories of the day of the shoot, because you weren't involved in the song, writing the song, but you were certainly there for the day of the shoot, which was insane.
Yeah.
We somehow got it done in a day. Do you have any trauma from the situation?
Yeah, it was trauma. Exactly. No, no. You know what? When I call Patti my auntie, when auntie calls, we come. Her voice
I noticed.
and what she stands for. When Brenda Russell, my other auntie, calls, we come because they're amazing. When my sister Siedah calls, we come. The force within these ladies are amazing, and all they did was call everyone. We showed up and we said, what do we need to do to be a part of this? Because we need to bring change. And that change depends on women voting. You know, there were so many women not voting, as the statistics had said, what Julie, said earlier. And it was really important. I wanted to play drums. Mervyn had already started some things, so they wanted me to sing. And I said, okay, excuse me. I can sing, but I can't sing. And y'all got all the singers, and I mean singing divas, and you want me to do what? They gave me they gave me one little line, and I'm like, okay, that's it, I'm done.
Come on, glamorous life, represent.
Yes,
okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
Don't start.
It was a blessing, and people still talk about that video and that song, and I think that it states on the musicianship and the songwriting abilities of these three women that are so powerful that it needs to be re-released again, and it's still relevant to 2020.
Yeah, I want a copy of that so that I can post it. We all need to post that video. It looks incredible. Fergie, Kiki, there's so many stars in that video.
Yeah.
It just feels fresh and now as we are a couple weeks away from the 2020 election. Let's release it again, ladies. Let's do it.
Okay, well, I feel sorry that we're still kind of stuck in a hamster wheel with this, but I'm very, very proud that we were able to do this in the first place and that it's still relevant, but
Absolutely.
That's not enough. We have to move forward.
But we also need to understand and give ourselves grace that change does not happen overnight.
No,
it really doesn't. So we've been in this sort of cluster dumpster fire for 4 years or so. Before that, it felt like the world is fixed. So that was us getting really complacent and believing that there was no racism, there was no hate, it's all such a weird time that we're living through. And the fact that we can't be together to even do this is a new normal that we all need to acclimate to. But the one thing that is consistent is the sister girlfriend action that's going on in this Zoom. It is so beautiful to see. And people need to understand yet again in this election, not only are women trying to save the world, but specifically Black women. So represent, ladies, represent.
That is the plan. And so we roll the tape ahead from 2012 to today. You have a very crazy 70-year-old 65th anniversary in show business. And boy, are my arms tired. So yeah, I've been doing this a long time, since I'm as an amateur, since I'm 4, as a professional, since I'm 5. So I got some serious Social Security, okay? Anyway, I'm ranting through my house about every scrap of news that I'm hearing, and I'm going, wait a minute, I know the most powerful women on earth. What happens if I get them all together? We had a few of them together in a room in 2012. What if I get like the whole dream list? First of all, what if I call everybody and say, let's do this? And am I prepared to live with the rejection that I'm about to endure? But alas, everybody. I mean, I didn't even get to ask them what I wanted to do. They just said, yeah, okay, great. Get back to me. Whenever you come up with the idea, give me a holler. So I made the circle of the whole group. Tanika's going to introduce you to everybody one by one. And just to give you a little more elaboration, talk to Brenda. I always, Brenda and I have our sister, mother, aunt, whatever relative we need to be that day conversation. And I said, Brenda, I'm calling everybody. I know you all think I'm crazy. Trust me, I don't drink anymore. This is not a drunk call. And this is really something we need to do, but I don't know what it is yet. And with that, we got into a conversation that turned into a conversation about our mothers and our ancestors and how we were feeling them so much now because of everything that's going on, and wondering, are they empowering us now? We just don't even think about it. We don't realize it. Maybe that's where we need to go. And she started telling me this amazing story of her great grandmother. So Tanika, pick it up from here. Now you know how all of these women came together, but meet.
Yes. Let's
The
meet
broad.
women of Twist 2020. And before we go there, Patti, that
Yes,
picture is fire, sister. So blow it
There's
up on your wall. It works. It works.
Yeah, there's a story that goes with that picture that really briefly, that's my mom in Harlem when she was in her 20s. She was a friend of a very famous local photographer, a guy named Cecil Lane. And Cecil was friends with, ding, ding, Gordon Parks. And he was taking pictures of my mom, not Gordon, Cecil. And Gordon came in and said, let me show you how to do this, and took 4 amazing pictures of my mother. None of them are that picture because we lost that picture when my house burned down years ago. But anyway, we have this one left.
All right, Patti, I was specifically also talking about your picture with the slick back, honey.
Airbrushing, Botox.
You don't have to tell
Bullshit.
anybody that, Patti. You don't have to tell anybody.
I'm trying to break down this whole thing. We have to look fabulous all the time.
That's true.
Stop it.
That's true. That's true.
You guys
All
have
right,
to look
guys.
fabulous all the time. No, they do.
No,
not.
honey, please. They don't. They don't. Well,
Make it face, people.
It's time, world. Let's meet the women of Twist 2020. Up first, this award-winning singer-songwriter is also a top first call background singer who has toured with some of the biggest names in popular music, including the Rolling Stones, Sting, Tina Turner, 9 Inch Nails, Luther Vandross, and so many others. She's also collaborated on a variety of projects with such artists as Lang Lang, Yo-Yo Ma, and Billy Childs. You may know her best from her lead role in the Oscar-winning documentary 20 Feet from Stardom. Please welcome 2-time Grammy Award winner, Lisa Fischer. What's up?
My mother's tears live in me. And I've learned that it's okay to cry and still be strong. We used to sit around our old black and white television set, and I remember JFK, Malcolm, MLK, and RFK, all silenced. So I honor my mother's tears by not being silent. That's why I vote. Plan your vote. Twist 2020. Tough women in strange times.
So for all of you out there watching, I just wanted to give you sort of perspective on where these beautiful black and white videos are coming from. Per the theme of Twist 2020 this year, each woman videotaped herself and her feelings about voting this year and connecting themselves to the lineage of their family. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
I'm fabulous, Tanika. How are you?
I'm so good. It's so nice seeing you again. And you are officially a twist woman, a tough woman in strange times. How have these times landed on you? Because you're very zen, you're very spiritual. How have you navigated this dumpster fire?
Oh, You know, I think I'm still trying to navigate it. Every day is really a test.
Yeah.
I think at first it was shock. And all of a sudden I felt like the whole world shifted. Like I needed to go within for whatever answers I needed to be sane. Yeah, I needed to kind of go deep within and stuff started to get real. So now I'm feeling a lot better and just more balanced.
a lot of meditation. A lot of people are understanding that because there's no Olivia Pope, there's no Superwoman, no one's coming to save us, that we have to fortify ourselves and empower ourselves to be our own superhero. And collectively, maybe we can change the energy and the vibrations of the world, right?
Absolutely, Tanika, yes.
Tell us how you became a part of Twist. Did Patti just say, "No, girl, what's up"?
I was sitting at home learning how to record in my studio apartment, and the phone rings, and it's Patti Austin on my phone. Now you have to understand, like, Patti Austin to me is a goddess. And when I was a kid, when I was younger, I was listening to VLS, and they had this interview of her, and it went through her history and her correcting a band or something on stage. She was really little, and I was just like, "Who is this Patti Austin lady? Oh my God!" You know, listening to all of her records and just all the background stuff, and I was just like, "She's on my phone. She's actually on my phone." And I'm like fangirling out, and then we just talked. I listened mostly because Patti is full. She's full of fire and passion, and I didn't want to miss a thing. I didn't want to miss a thing. And it was almost as though she was dreaming about what she wanted to do as she was speaking. And so I felt honored to just be there and to listen and to support and to be a part of it.
As you heard, she's been in the business for 65 years. She's a legend with about 1,000,000,001 stories. So listening is a smart thing, I have to say. But your first time meeting her was when she called and said, "Can you do me a solid?"
No, I met her before. Luther Vandross spoke of her all the time because they were doing all the session work and all that stuff. So, so I'd met her in passing before. Yeah.
Tell me about this incredible picture behind you.
This is my mom. Her name was Corrine. She passed away when she was 35, but when we were little, she was part of that generation that was seen, not heard. And so she was always kind of quiet and shy. But she always had this look on her face like, "I will murder you if you don't stop what you're doing, child." You know, so there was a nice balance of, you better listen to your mother.
That's
and
called
the quiet
look.
You know what I mean?
Respect that, yes. We all have a version of it, trust.
Yeah. No, she was sweet and quiet and loving and just a big inspiration for me for the amount of time that she spent on this earth.
It's a beautiful picture, and I can already tell that you carry that grace that she has. And you're quiet too. You're not loud, Lisa. You just sing with the gods, okay, honey? When you sing, we hear everything, and we are grateful for it, let me tell you. Answer me this. What were some of your impressions growing up as a young Black girl in the 60s?
You know, my memory serves me in a strange way. It's one of, like, imagine a movie in photographs. So I see things in pictures. I see the projects. I see, guys hanging out on the park bench and talking about conspiracy theories and just the weight of the world. It was crazy. I lived in Brooklyn. There was a gang called the Avenue Kings. My building was connected to what used to have a housing police. And so now the housing police is no more. It's now what it is now. I think it all joined together. But the police, like, were my friends. My dad used to be a housing policeman. And so I felt safe, but I could also sense the danger. I could see the pain in my mother's eyes when we would see the madness on television. I was 5 years old when I think it was when Robert F. Kennedy. It was in 63, I think. And just the emotion on her face and tears, and just like every time we would all stand still and just watch the television. I felt like the television came in at us because I was kind of young and still protected then, so I wasn't going out a whole lot. It was crazy. I was lucky that I had really great teachers and really great parents and good friends to kind of keep me cooled out, but it was crazy.
Let me ask you this. Were you, because you were so young and your mom had so much pain in her eyes, did that inspire you to understand how important it was to get involved politically? Like, did you grow up going, I can't wait till I'm 18. Like, this is a responsibility and an honor that I have as a Black person to vote and to get involved?
You know, my situation was different. You know, my parents were young, so I don't ever remember them voting. Like, it wasn't like, ta-da, we're voting. It was never any of that. I think the awareness came more for me just living life and just something that I wanted to do. You know, I don't have children, but, you know, I talked to the rest of my family members, y'all voted yet? You're gonna do this, you're gonna, you know. So it's really more inner fire. It's more an inner fire. The inspiration that I get from my mom is more about the reasons why you should, as opposed to, you know, the fact that she probably hadn't voted. I don't ever remember that. She might have, but I never remember them talking about it. It wasn't about those. I never heard those conversations in the house.
And I agree. I think a lot of us have that story, and I think it was all kind of by design too. Oh, don't be interested in this voting stuff. Don't y'all worry about it. Now we're like, what? It's so
yeah.
No wonder we've been like making fun of each other. Oh, voting is for nerds.
Interesting you say that, because we're at the point where you feel the weight. You feel better as a person and feeling your own voice. Yeah, so it's time. It's been time.
Thank you so much. Around, okay? Because you guys are going to have a little girl chat later, right?
You got it. I'm out.
Much love.
Much
All
love.
right, you guys, we are going to move on. One of the most gifted singer-songwriters and composers of our time. Her music has been recorded by dozens. Herb Alpert, Patti Austin, Vandross, and Adamson adaptation of The Color Purple. But we know her best by her mega hits, Get Here, If Only for One.
How are you?
I'm really good. How does that feel to hear you? It sounds amazing. So congrats. Play your video first. You ready for that?
Let's
see your black and white video. Let's go.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Dina Lavon Platt, born on August 29th, 1843. As a young girl, she was a water girl for the slaves in the cotton fields. And as she got older, she became the lookout for the slaves. While they were sneakily kneeling and praying for their freedom, she would watch for the horse that was coming. And as he got closer, the overseer, she would tell the slaves to get up from praying and start picking cotton. She had 11 children. She lost 2. She sent 4 to university because she insisted upon going north after the war so her children would be educated. She said, I put prayers on my children's heads. And I think she was right, because it's working. Twist 2020, plan your vote.
Brenda.
Hi.
Hi. Tell me about your grandmother. Tell me about the story you were speaking of in that video.
Yes, it's actually my great grandmother.
Oh.
Who, she was born into slavery, as I had mentioned, and she was at the beginning of the Civil War, Fort Sumter. She was there in the fields, and she said She said the sky was dark as night because of the cannonball fire, you know. And she said, it's amazing. And she saw a guy lose his head with a cannonball. She actually saw that, right?
How old was she?
She was young. 1861, she was born. She was about in her 20s, I guess, because she was born in 1843.
That is what sits with me so strong, is how much our ancestors really went through turmoil to get us to where we are now.
I have to tell you, the part about how she was the water girl for the slaves when she was young, and then she would be the lookout and watch for the tail of the horse coming around the fields while the slaves were on the ground praying for their freedom. And so when she saw the overseer coming, she would tell them to get up and start picking cotton again. And she was amazing. 11 children. She lost 2 children. She married a Native American from the Santee tribe, which is in South Carolina.
Wow.
And Indians at that time could have their own property. So she married a man that had his own money and wealth, and they bought a house in Massachusetts. And she wanted to go north because she wanted to make sure that her children got an education, and she didn't believe they could get it in the South. So,
and I understand that. That's logical, right?
Me too. And I still have some of her furniture. She bought beautiful furniture, beautiful antiques. I still have them. One of the couches I have has a drawer under it that was filled with Confederate money when she bought it.
What?
I know. It was like a secret drawer pulled out from the bottom of the couch. Confederate money. Can you believe that?
Now, I couldn't quite hear the video this time, but did you and your great-grandmother, I guess you never crossed paths?
Never crossed paths. She died 5 years before I was born, but I feel like I know her.
Yeah.
Because I have her furniture, and I think, if I ever start to think I have a bad day, don't even, because this woman had a bad day. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Slavery is something that is just horrendous.
Horrendous.
It infuriates me that this woman had to go through that kind of a life. But all I can do now is vote because she couldn't vote.
Thank you for putting that in perspective, because we moms today are experiencing our own personal health through homeschooling, but that's nothing compared to what our ancestors had to experience. And that is even more of a reason why we vote, to honor what our people went through.
Exactly. Right? And makes me proud to stand up for that.
I love that. Brenda, thank you so much for being here with us and for your large catalog. Hopefully we'll be hearing a little bit of you singing later, and you're going to have a little girl chat with the ladies, okay?
Yes. Okay, thank you, Tanika.
Thank you so much, Brenda. Up next, you guys, this powerhouse vocalist burst onto the music scene in the late 90s. She recently released her 9th studio album, The Wild Card. She just nabbed her first #1 single, Anything for You, on the Billboard Adult R&B Airplay chart. She is a staunch advocate for the arts and lobbies for young musicians and protecting the rights of creatives. That's important. The first-time playwright recently starred in the theatrical production of Legend of Little Girl Blue, which opened to rave reviews at the Wallace Theater in Los Angeles. She is also the author of Better Than All Right, Finding Peace, Love, and Power, a collaboration with Essence Magazine, and Don't Ever Lose Your Walk, How to Embrace Your Journey. Please welcome 12-time Grammy-nominated recording artist, I love this woman, Ledisi.
Wow. Okay, I made it. Hi, Tanika.
Hi, girl. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited about today. All these wonderful women and talking about voting. This is awesome. And you're hosting.
Why not? Yes, you are amongst your peers. Let's check out your contribution and your video. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Ledisi. I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, but raised in Oakland, California. I come from a line of men and women who spent life's work fighting for the truth, fighting for their community and giving back. being of service. You see, in my family, I have military background, I have nurses, legal secretaries, professors, assistant to senators, judges, spiritual leaders, priestess, Black Panthers. I mean, all over my family has given back to its community. And that's why I vote, because I have a legacy standing with me. You see, when I stand, I'm standing not only for myself, but I'm standing for them. So that is why I plan my vote. Plan your vote. Twist 2020. Tough women in strange times.
All those people in your family tree have contributed to exactly the person that you are today. Really, from every walk of life. Who do you connect with the most?
Well, definitely my mother, but without my mom, there wouldn't be, there wouldn't be this woman right here, Grandma Lorraine. So she is one of the toughest women I've ever experienced in my life, the brief moments I've had with her. She was a professor at a university in Louisiana. I can't remember which one right now, but she taught science and chemistry. That was her
year, Ledisi.
I can't remember.
Great. This is your grandmother.
I know. My mom tried to tell me all the information, but I'm late here rushing, so I haven't gotten all the information.
It has to be like the 40s or the 50s, right?
Yes, definitely in the late 40s, 50s. Yeah.
And she was a professor? See, these stories, you don't hear about that often. That is incredible.
Yeah, it was in a rural part of Louisiana, but what I remember about her is she was very adamant about learning and reading books. She wore red high heel shoes and red lipstick. She was a hot mama. She was 4 feet tall. She was barely 5 feet. And she was a Delta. And I knew that the men just loved her, but she was really, really smart. Everything about her was about education and the rights for Black people, and just a fireball because she was so short. All the women in my family were really short and they were loud.
Sounds perfect to me. I think my goal in life is to be a smart hot mama. Isn't that everybody's goal? To be a little sassy, but also like rip people to shreds when you need to.
Yes. She looks all innocent, but she was a powerhouse. And that's where my mom get it from. And then I looked even further, and my great-grandmother and my great-grandfather, they had a church that they ran, and, they taught us about land and ownership and, community leaders, and everyone in the family has done something for the community. That was their thing, is always giving back. So it's a beautiful line. I love my family members. We have judges now. We have lawyers. We have senators. We have one great senator. I forget her name too. It's just so much, I don't usually get into politics, but I activate myself and be a part of it any way I know how. And talking about my family, I'm so private. So this is when Patti invited me to be a part of this. It was like I had to open up a door that I keep safe and close. And so I just, this is new for me, but I want to show people that it's real lives here that are taking risk and taking care of the community. It's a part of my legacy. So me stepping forward like this is new, and Patti just threw me in the ring.
Well, welcome to the ring. Well, I think we all, back in the day was like, no, you don't talk about politics in public. It's gauche. It's whatever. We don't have the luxury to not speak about the things that are important to us today. We do not. It all bets are off. Okay. We need to save this world, and now. Lickety split. And so Patti called, and you immediately became a woman of Twist. How did music, politics, food, and culture influence you growing up in Oakland? Because that's a big part of your life too.
Yes, New Orleans and Oakland are just all mashed together for me. It's different though, culturally, from both places. I learned a lot about what is poured into our community and what is not. That's like, I didn't get it all together until I got older. I said, oh, this is why we didn't have funding for this, and why you have to beg for scholarships for programs that I wanted to be a part of. Or, just culturally, if there's no people, there's no culture. If there's no heart, like I saw after Katrina in New Orleans, the heart of the city was moved away. I saw it come back slowly, and it's still not like it was, but it's getting better. Right. But you have to have culture, you have to take care of community, and you have to give back. It's so important. And so every vote counts, every person counts. And I just want us to get that right now. It's so important.
Yeah, you know, you guys are legends in pop culture, and it seems to be at a weird time where we have other members who are pretty famous who are saying very disparaging things and confusing our community. So Ledisi, I know you're private, but this is your moment. You talk to this audience and tell them why it's important to vote.
Well, it's important to vote right now, especially because there is a spiritual war that is
yes
as well. It's not just about the economics of it, but there's lives that are at stake. And I'm tired of us ignoring the part that's really important. When all of this falls apart, it's still human beings. There's still life. And we need to cherish that and make sure there's support for that. Right now, all these people have died because someone didn't give information. It's that simple. And that to me is heartbreaking. And I'm tired of us not talking about it. So now we need leadership. It starts with leadership. Correct. When leadership is not forward and clear, everything else is not forward and not clear. In complete chaos we are in. And we're just acting like it's not happening. Well, it'll just go away. No, it takes us to make it go away. It takes us restructuring systems that we don't want to talk about, but eventually we need to change this and make it more upgraded to what is happening right now.
100%. And you're going to send me down a path I'm not going to go down, but everything you said times 50. Okay.
Well, thank you. This is a tough time for me because I'm opening up myself, and I'm learning because my grandmother is counting on it. My mother's counting on it. My nieces and nephews are counting on it, and you are counting on it. So thank you for helping me get here, Patti. And thank you, Tanika, for just being here to help support us. It means the world.
Absolutely. You know, I love my sisters, and I agree with you. We're all coming out of our comfort zone because we have no other choice.
No other choice.
We have no other choice. Well, thank you for trusting me. We love you, love you, love you. Ledisi. Stick around because you're going to have some girl chat, right?
Yes, I can't wait.
Okay. Thank you so much. We're going to move on to our next goddess. She is one of the most prolific singer-songwriters of our time, who is not only recognized for her hit songs in popular music, but her groundbreaking music in motion pictures. She won a Grammy Award for Love You, I Do from the film Dreamgirls. She was also nominated for 2 Academy Awards for her compositions in the films Real and Rio and Dreamgirls. Most of us remember her anthem, Man in the Mirror. Oh, got goosebumps. Recorded by the king of pop himself, Michael Jackson, with whom she toured and performed worldwide. Recently, she released The New Frontier, Say Their Name, a tribute song to George Floyd and all the other African-American men, women, and children who have been murdered by the police. Please welcome Siedah Garrett.
Hola, chica.
Hola, chica. ¿Cómo está?
Thanks for having me. I feel so privileged to be a part of this group of very, very important women. We all have things we need to be doing right now, but we all felt that this was important enough for us to take time and make space for in our lives at this time.
I am so jonesing for your Frida Kahlo flower wreath right now, but while I get over my obsession.
Of course I made it myself, of course.
Let's check out your video. Let's go to the video.
Go for it.
My great-grandmother was a slave. She and many others like her were systematically stolen from their homeland, shipped to this country in chains, and forced to work on plantations, picking cotton, making white landowners all the more rich off the backs of slave labor. She wasn't allowed to vote. She wasn't allowed to read. She wasn't allowed to write. She wasn't allowed to have a say in what happens in her life. She wasn't even allowed to have a say in what happens in her own body. This coming November, I'll be casting my vote because my great-great-grandmother wasn't allowed to cast hers. This is why I vote. Plan your vote.
It's giving me life, that wreath. What do you call it, a headband?
It is a flower crown.
Okay, we all need these flower crowns. Since you made it yourself, let's make it a business, Siedah.
I love that. I love that. I'm wearing them because I haven't been able to get my hair done, and my edges is rough. So
girl, that's what they got that spray for. Okay, we don't have to get into my personal.
Okay.
I got spray, girl. That's what I hear. Siedah, there's a rumor that you had something to do with the naming of Twist, Tough Women in Strange Times. How did that come about?
I guess I've become the acronym queen because after LOVE, Patty's like, okay, what can you come up with this? So Twist, we are living in some very twisted times. Up is down, down is up, black is white, red is blue. Everything is not what we know it to be because we are being told it's something else. Twisted, strange times. And we are strong, tough women. So we represent every tough woman in this strange time. And we have to twist our minds around flipping this scenario. We need to flip this paradigm. I feel a shift in the works. I feel the powers that be getting a little nervous about the activism that's going around, about the movement, about things that are changing in our society, about the activity that he's rousing. I think he's getting a little nervous about that. And that brings me joy.
Girl, you never lied.
So I'm just hoping that we can continue this thrust because there've already been more votes than any election that I can recall already.
Let me tell you, in 2016, they had something like 400,000 early votes. Right now, we're going past 9 million voters. So
that just lets me know that everyone wants to say something. They want to let their own voices emerge. They have something to say and they want to be heard. So we are allowing and creating a platform where we all can just pursue our own endeavors as far as our political agenda. And I think we need to push this agenda because we need more women, and especially women of color, to cast their vote. No matter what side you vote for, just count. Make sure you're counted.
Well, it does matter which side, but that's not a problem.
Well, I had to say that. I had to say that. But you know,
you're right.
It doesn't matter. I'm trying to be politically correct. What'd you say?
I said it doesn't matter, but it matters. And yes, we all want to be heard. It's about stopping the insanity at this point, right?
True that. Yeah, and the only way we can stop it is to speak up. And the only way we can speak up is to cast our vote. It's as simple as that.
I'm gonna put you, I would literally say, let's say November 4th. Well, no, we can't even go. I was gonna say, what song would Siedah Garrett write for November 3rd even? The day of the election. There's gotta be a song coming. You could think
it's already been written. It's called Oh Happy Day. Oh, it was a happy day. We'll see.
Fingers crossed, sister. Fingers crossed.
You got it.
Having direct knowledge of your great-grandmother's narrative as a slave is really powerful. I don't know about any of my ancestors as slaves in specifics. What has it laid on you? Like, how has that inspired you as a woman living in 2020?
Well, I think it would be my great-great-grandmother because I just lost my mother's mother at 103 a couple of years ago.
Wow.
And the stories that she told me were just incredible. She saved herself by being able to pass for white. So she wasn't treated like my father was treated. My father was blue-black and hated himself because of it. And when my mother left her mother's house at 17, she found the blackest black man she could find, which of course pissed her mother off beyond. but
Well,
I am the product of
with
that relationship. So I never had a great relationship growing up with my mother's mother because we weren't the offspring with the good hair and the green eyes. And that was my mother's twin who had a kid who fit that description for her. So for her, that was her favorite grandchild. But my paternal grandmother looked like me. And for her, she realized that we weren't being treated fairly, my sister and I, by my mother's mother. So she really went out of her way to pick up the slack. And I know she was a very proud woman and a very strong woman and really smart, not well educated, but seriously smart. She owned property, she owned land. She was her own. My grandmother was a feminist before the word feminist was around. She was a feminist before she knew what she was. She was very strong, never depended on a man for anything in her life. And I think that's where I got that from. But when she was 18, she wasn't allowed to vote. So I cast my vote because she was not allowed to cast hers.
Wow. It's a responsibility. And guess what, Siedah? We have a correction.
What?
As of today, are you ready for this? How
God.
many early voters? Julie just came through in the chat. 28 million people have voted early.
Yes. Yes. That has to mean something good for our side, I'm telling you.
Yes. I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps saying that.
And it has to be a landslide. It must be a landslide.
But please,
it has to be no doubt, no question.
100%. But please know, that man doesn't care about rules. The 3 months after election are still going to be dumpster. So
yes, they're going to be.
He's
going to be cantankerous. Yes, he's going to be in denial. But you know what? Denial ain't nothing but a river in Egypt, if you know what I'm saying.
Let me tell you, our sister Ledisi, she put her finger on it when she said it's a spiritual war. We all need to remember that.
I'll tell you,
well.
yes.
Thank you so much, Siedah. Stick around for Girl Chat. We're going to move on. Terri, tell me about this picture behind you.
Well, that's my grandmother, Helen Christina Carrington, and she was a powerhouse. I'm born on her birthday, and Barack Obama shares both of our birthdays.
August 4th.
That's right. That's right. And, she really inspired me in so many ways, but it was a really beautiful thing for her to be able to vote for Barack Obama because she was born in 1911, which was 8 years before the Suffrage Act was signed. So for her to come from that time period and then to be able to vote for him was really very powerful. And I got a picture of him signed to her, a happy birthday picture that he signed. So I'm really proud of that. But she was driving her own car at 16 years old. So that was 27. And she'd been driving ever since. And, she just showed me a lot of values in life that I hold dear to this day. Working hard and, saving money. She was the person that was able to give me money to buy my first condo when I was in my 20s. And, she was a hard worker, and I really miss her. She lived to be almost 100, so about a century.
Wow, what an incredible legacy your family has. I'm so inspired now to dig into my AfricanAncestry.com and figure out where I come from. I think it's so important. I think as a culture alone, we all kind of feel like orphans, right? Because we don't have our rituals and we don't have our traditions. We're trying to create it as African Americans, but we really are such a young community. And for you to have that foundation is powerful. And that must have led to you wanting to be a part of Twist, right?
Well, sure, of course. But also I play drums. So that's, I have a direct contact with my ancestry, just playing the drums, and just African American culture is so special and unique. I'm a jazz musician, and just seeing the through lines between all of Black music and how it's really come from our heritage and from our roots in Africa, and why we do things and can play in certain ways that is just special to us. So yeah, I'm very much in tune with that. Of course, we're a hybrid of other cultures too. Speaking of my grandmother, I remember her telling us that our family was on the plantation of Robert E. Lee, and that you know, he might be my great grandfather or something like that. So it was the wrong side of the war, but you know, those are the stories that we have. So yes, I'm very proud to be in this group of amazing women.
That just makes me think that, yes, our lineage is so powerful and so packed with these empowered Black women and men, but we also have Massa side in our gene pool too, right? And so we've got this inner trauma and this inner conflict, and we're just trying to figure it out. So voting and taking a stance today is very powerful. Thank you so much, Terri. I really appreciate your story and your beautiful picture of your great grandmother.
Oh, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Stick around for some girl chat, okay?
I will.
All right, guys, we are so honored to have our special guest who was able to join us this evening to share her perspective on tough women in strange times. Please welcome noted activist, scholar, and author, the one and only Dr. Angela Davis. How are you?
Well, actually, I'm rather intimidated to be in this amazing community of women musicians. So thank you for inviting me.
Do you have a little voice you'd like to share with the ladies right now?
We better save that till later.
Well, trust me, I have no shame. I'll sing with you if you want to take it. Like, this is the moment, it's only one moment in time, Angela. Let's go.
No.
Let's go to your video message and see what you contributed to Twist 2020, okay?
I have never taken voting for granted. Black women fought for Black suffrage in the 19th century. And in the few cases where it was successful, only Black men benefited. Black women fought for women's suffrage, but only white women benefited. Before I was born, my mother did dangerous activist work with the NAACP, the Southern Negro Youth Congress, and other organizations. Many people were beaten, brutalized, and killed because they believed that Black people should have the vote. I vote because we need to intensify our movements against police violence, the prison industrial complex, climate change. I vote because I believe in an abolitionist future.
Angela, first of all, you being a part of this project is so important. And you shared a story about your mom and how active she was in social justice movements. So you are really the apple from your mom's tree. Tell us what the first time you realized that that was your path.
Well, you know, it took me a while to recognize that I was literally walking in my mother's footsteps.
Yeah.
You know, because when we're adolescents, we usually define ourselves against our parents as opposed to with the assistance of our parents' trajectory. And I think I finally realized it when I saw images of my mother speaking on my behalf when I was in jail. She traveled all over the country. My sister had just had her daughter, who was, I think, maybe 4 or 5 months old. My sister was traveling abroad, organizing the campaign for my freedom. My mother traveled with the baby, with Issa, and I saw these images of her holding the baby in one hand, and her fist was up in the air on the other hand. and so I had never known my mother to be such a powerful activist.
Yes.
But she got involved with the Southern Negro Youth Congress when she was in college, and became a really committed activist. I should have known, because the way she reared us was by telling us all the time that things were going to be different, that we did not have to expect that the conditions of segregation in Birmingham would be there forever. And so I learned from my mother how to imagine a different world, even as I lived in that world. So I'll, she'll always be close to my heart in that respect.
Miss Davis, I have to say, oh, I get goosebumps thinking about that. That is where we are today. We have to unchain our minds to believe that there is a new possible future. And that's what everybody is saying. Let's start imagining what we can be going forward. That this structure is obviously broken, and we are literally watching the foundation crumble right before us right now. America will never be the same after 2020. So you have grown up with an open mind. So what would you like to impart on people as far as what to imagine going forward?
Well, in relation to the vote, I would say that we absolutely have to vote. We have to, by voting, we can clean out the White House.
Yes.
And we have to do that work in order to create a more expansive terrain on which to begin to do that building and imagining that you were talking about. I am so fortunate that I get to see this. Because I've been calling for abolition for a long time, years, decades, but I never imagined that I would still be alive when we could see the concrete possibilities of a different future. And so I see myself as witnessing for all of those who didn't make it this far. So I constantly think about those who fell as a result of the struggles, and I know that that they're probably experiencing this joy now, even as we are having the most extraordinary period of a combination of pain and suffering and joy and activism, and this is where we are. This is where we are.
This is where we are, and it's so funny because. Not funny, but interesting that even our grandparents never thought we'd ever see a Barack Obama as the president of the United States. And in my gratitude meditations, I'm always saying, thank you, God, for putting me on the planet at this time. As much as is going on, what a blessing to watch a Barack and an Oprah and a Malala and these young girls coming up. It is, and a Miss Angela Davis, like what a beautiful time in the world. Even though there is a lot of pain, right? And you're still called to the party whenever there are women's marches, whenever there are Black Lives Matter events.
Yeah.
How would you describe how activism and peaceful protest has sort of evolved since you were out there in front of the mic every single day?
Well, I see it as a continuum. And I think those of us who are activists have a responsibility to do the work of creating the terrain for the next generation. Yes. And I am so excited to see all of the young women and men and trans activists who are out there doing so much more than we could have ever imagined doing. We thought we were the radicals. But now I look at these young high school students who know the vocabulary and who are calling for defund the police. Yes. Oh my God.
What did you think when you heard that the first time? You were like, what?
I know, because as an abolitionist, I always said, well, we'll never get to see this in our lifetimes, but we know we have to do the work, because it will come eventually. And then with this confluence of circumstances, the COVID-19 pandemic and the recognition that racism is structural, that's what people didn't recognize when Barack Obama was elected, because they were saying, well, this marks the end of racism.
No,
because the final barrier has come down.
Everything's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but this is just such an exciting moment, and to hear that over 20 million people have already voted, you know, I am so happy to be alive. I'm so happy to witness this. And I should tell you, I spoke about my mother, who died a number of years ago in 2005. Her best friend is still alive. She is almost 106 years old. And I did a Zoom call just before this on art and abolition. And her daughter, who's my very good friend and who was my attorney, Margaret Burnham, sent me a picture of her, sent up an image of her listening to me, you know, talk about art and abolition.
What a
so I kind of imagine that my mother was there somewhere as well.
Oh, for sure. Your mother is, that's the thing. Our ancestors are always with us.
That's
and
right.
you must feel them all the time, having your back. Even back in the day, you must have felt them sort of powering you on. And you've mentioned the ideas of racial capitalism and hope for an abolitionist future. Do you want to just expound on that just a little bit so that people who have never heard those terms before can take it and really soak it in?
Okay, first, well, let me say that those of us who have been calling for abolition for a long time recognize that that it's about imagining a different kind of future.
Yeah. Yes.
And that music allows us to engage in those leaps of the imagination. And Terri Lyne did this remarkable video for the Zoom call I was just on. And I think music for abolition, and it helps us to feel and to imagine when we don't yet know how to say it. Racial capitalism is capitalism, because capitalism has always been racial capitalism.
Absolutely.
Capitalism was constructed on the basis of colonialism and slavery. And capitalism has always exploited and utilized and exacerbated racism. And so when we look at the prison industrial complex, all of the 2.5 million people behind bars, that's because of racial capitalism. You know, that's because of privatization and the transformation of the economy so that people no longer have the capacity to find meaningful work, and they can't go to school. Education should be free.
Yep.
College education should be free. Healthcare should be free. All of the things that we need in order to exist as human beings should not be commodities. But racial capitalism has turned everything into the occasion for the generation of profit.
Yeah, at the bottom of this, I always go, wow, you look at those other countries that take care of their people, they care about the people in their country. And it's pretty clear that there is no care for the people who actually live here, who actually paid the president's health bill at the hospital. There's no care. We have a really good question here. We're at a unique moment in history of our nation. We have a highly controversial occupant, that's a very special way of saying that, in the White House, and nationwide outrage over police brutality and the killing of unarmed Black people like George Floyd. And our world has basically exploded. As a longtime activist and scholar, are you encouraged by the Black Lives Matter movement, or is there something you'd like to tweak?
You know, there's always something to tweak, but I am so overjoyed by the Black Lives Matter movement. You know, as an older person, as someone who has been in the movement for, well, let me see, over 6 decades, 6.5 decades, I would say. I am just happy to see that young people are using the work that we did as the foundation, as the ground on which to develop new, more creative ideas. The fact that Black women are in leadership, I mean, and queer Black women are in leadership. that is absolutely amazing. And so, yeah, I might have some differences with some of the strategies, but every generation has to find its own way and make its own mistakes. So I'm always on the sidelines applauding. I'm saying right on, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You brought us this far. And now you need to train the youngest generation to keep the fight going.
Well, don't you worry. My 6-year-old is a little womanist activist herself. So we let it continue. And I think it must be so empowering and so warm to your heart that you are always on that list of people that they bring back to speak on the behalf. We are just following in your footsteps, to be perfectly honest. Do you feel the weight of that? Do you understand your impact?
Well, my impact is not my impact as an individual. My impact is a collective impact. It's the impact of all of those with whom I have learned and struggled, and yeah, it's always about collectives and communities. So I gladly accept that, but not as an individual, because as individuals, we're not capable of very much. And the amazing musicians that are on this call, they've created remarkable communities of people who've been transformed by their music. And I mean, this is why I said I was intimidated, and I'm so excited at the same time, because I know that the real changes happen deep inside of us. And oftentimes it's not the didactic language that someone like me uses. It's the language that the artists and the musicians are able to forge to help us to transform, deeply transform.
Agreed. And I always think of, we're in 2020, and then I think about 1920s. We are in sort of a renaissance right now, where artists and the creatives really add to the advancement of our communities. So everybody is pitching in from every angle, and I think that's all really necessary, don't you?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, art is always about creating something new. Art and music it's about creating something that has never been created before. And that's actually where we are as activists. We want to create something that has never been created before. And that is why musicians are our beacons. They are showing us the way. So thank you all.
Angela, I just want you to know, as much as you are fangirling over this group here, all the girls are fangirling over you in the chat. So there's mutual love here on Twist 2020.
Wonderful.
I am so honored to sit here. Ledisi wrote nerd snort. That's hilarious. I'm so honored to sit here. It looks like our screen's frozen, but I think people can still hear us. I just want you to know, we want to give you your flowers now, so that you understand how important you are to us and our culture, and that we hope that we as a collective make you proud moving forward.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I have goosebumps, and I will never forget this moment. You just keep being you and shining and illuminating your spirit, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Wasn't that so amazing? I'm just super giddy because my little womanist self is like, yeah!
Wow.
This Grammy-nominated artist is a master percussionist, singer, songwriter, author, actress, and humanitarian. During the early days of her career, she played for Lionel Richie, Marvin Gaye, Herbie Hancock, Diana Ross, and she was a member of the George Duke Band. I can't stop smiling. Globally, she is best known for her longtime musical association with the one and only Prince. And I'll say it here, her soulmate. I hope she doesn't hate me for that. As a band leader, she was nominated for an Emmy Award for her outstanding music direction for President Obama's performance at the White House, Fiesta Latina. She is the author of Beat of My Own Drum. The multi-genre artist also finds time to teach a series of online drum lessons while heading up her Elevate Hope Foundation. a proud member of the acclaimed musical Escovedo family. Please welcome the glamorous live superstar, Miss Sheila E.
Hi.
Hi.
That was my sister, Miss Angela Davis. She dropped some knowledge up in here.
She did. I can't see you, but I'm going to continue on as if we can because it's live. The show don't stop. We just keep it moving. Let's play your video right now. Go for it. Sheila?
Yes.
I don't see you still, but I assume we're both there. It seems to be stuck. Welcome to live TV/Zoom. The video's stuck on Angela and I, but we're just going to continue on because that's what we do, right?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you had a beautiful video. I love the fact that you did a full like MTV style video for Why I Vote. Tell me what the inspiration was behind that.
I was on the road actually when my auntie Patti said, we're going to do this thing. Are you in? I said, absolutely. We went on a trip for my mom. We've always talked about doing it. We rented an RV, and my mom, my dad, we were celebrating my mom's 83rd birthday, and my cousin and my sister and 2 dogs. We drove cross country and back. And so I packed the RV with percussion instruments so that when I got to Minneapolis that I could record my part. And I was able to do that in one of the other studios, but I was influenced by so many things. It's hard to put into words 1 minute how you really feel and what's happening. But I was inspired by just the things that I had seen while we were driving cross country, how so many people are angry. They want change. People were very verbal about, what they want, which was good, and talking about voting. I was encouraged by the things that I had heard initially in the first 4 years ago when this election had happened with this administration that we have now. I was extremely upset of the words that were being said to or about my grandfather. Actually, he was talking about how my dad is Mexican and Indian and my mom is Creole. And right now I have a picture of my grandparents, on my mom's side, the Creoles, born in New Orleans and then lived in Oakland. But I want to change it so you can see my other grandfather, my dad's dad. Yeah, my dad's dad from Mexico. And he was born in Saltillo, Mexico, and came here. And I was just really angry how this administration had talked about how Mexicans are murderers, and all the things that were being said was so, it made me angry. It really did make me angry. And so I wanted to do something about it, and I wanted to, be a part of this. I think it's really important to talk about voting. And if we want change, we need to do something about it.
Correct. No, but this is not about standing on the sidelines in 2020. Everybody's got to come to the table. And what I think is so important is that you were also there in 2012, singing your little heart out. How did you become involved with Twist? Was it a simple call from Patti too?
Absolutely. When these group of women get together and they make that call, it's going to be for something incredible and good. And again, it's like Angela saying she feels a little intimidated. She's got to be kidding, because
I know
all that she has done for us. I've known Angela since I was young, and even when she came to my 21st birthday party.
What?
I grew up during the Black Panther Party, and she came to my 21st anniversary.
In Oakland, right?
In Oakland, yeah. And, I have a picture of her and I together when I was 21. It's just crazy.
Oh, we need to see that picture, Sheila.
I'll get you the picture. Yeah, so you can post it. But it's incredible because all the things that I've seen her go through and what she represents and what she continues to fight for, and the knowledge, we learn a lot. And I think that's what we're trying to impart to the young people now, how important it is to really find out the information needed. It's not just about voting for office, it's also the propositions and things. I mean, this is the things that are going to happen and make change has to be done with the young people, because they're the next generation. And we have to keep that going. It's important to vote because I think more than any other time in recent history, it's uncertain what lies ahead besides all the confusion and the hatred that's happening. The people have lost loved ones, their homes, their livelihoods, and in some cases, their future.
Yeah.
And we're in the middle of an unrest, a pandemic like still raging. This pandemic has taken so many lives, and we have this racial violence and the police brutality, a barrage of lives, and the incredible amount of disinformation and the greed like flooding from the White House and this administration. This is not normal. It's not right. And I know that we can do something about it. So when we keep continuing to talk about voting, I know people are sick of hearing it, but no, don't be sick of hearing it. You got to listen. Voting is important because your vote is your power. And I don't think people understand that. Your vote is your power. No president or political party gets to choose what you stand for. You do, like we do. And by voting, you and I are speaking up on what this country means and those who should be serving the people. Serve being the primary word. Like our democracy doesn't elect tyrants or dictators. And our democracy is made up of people, human beings that should all work together. And we've all been given a unique voice that we could use right now, use our voices right now. Your voice is powerful. Your vote is powerful. And by standing up today, everyone that is listening, would be helping to build the future. And that's really the point. This country's freedom, the democracy, and the future is only as strong as the people who fight for it. So if we want change, we have to vote. And that is so important. And it's why we're here.
100% agree with that. And it's funny that you were really activated when this administration was talking about Mexicans, all that projection, all the hate and the violence we see or that we've seen in the last 4 years is from one particular side. So we are in a weird time. You are spot on with that. It is a time to lean on our sisters. It is a time to lean on our cultures. It is a time to hold hands together and say, we are not going to take this anymore. And we are going to stop the insanity. So as much as people are bored with go vote, and as much as there's apathy, and as much as there are rap stars that are on the ballot, which makes me want to punch the screen, enough with the shenanigans, Sheila. Let them know either if you don't vote, if you're going to write in somebody's name, you're basically voting for Trump. Like, that does not mean anything. You've got to make a decision, right?
Yes, you do. And I mean, this picture of my grandfather and my grandmother in this picture, her name was Marie. And she was just an amazing woman, strong like my mom. And I did the African ancestry to find out about my family and realizing that my grandmother and her grandmother, mother and grandmother and great grandmother, my family on my mom's side, they have come from, they're called the Balanta people, and they live in Guinea-Bissau, from the small part in Africa. Mm-hmm. My family has come from Africa. My grandmother and grandfather here, born in New Orleans, their birth certificate says Negro on it. My dad, Mexican American, they came across from Mexico. All of my family has come here to this country they helped build this country. My grandfather was like a carpenter. He helped build this country. So did my grandfather from Mexico. My ancestors have helped build this country. And we have a right to sit here and talk about the things that need to change, the decisions that need to be made. But we need to come together. It's not about bashing out. It's about having a conversation, communicating with each other, and figure out what can we do. It's a give and take, I know, but we need to do something because they fought for where we are right now.
And I have one last question, because you just made me think about how you have, I don't know how you identify, but you've always been a part of the Black culture. And people are now criticizing Kamala. I mean, do you think that is a valid point? Or do you think just shut up? She's a woman that went to Howard. She identifies as being Black and Indian. What difference does it make?
It's too bad that it does make a difference, because this is where we are in this racial debacle that is happening. But at the same time, as Angela said, we're behind everyone in pushing to be heard. You know, it's been so long. Brown didn't matter for a very long time. Mexicans were the lowest of the totem pole. We were told that we were we were scum. That's what we were told as Mexicans. I think for Kamala, you know, and for all of us, we are human beings. How do we just go and kill people senselessly? How does that even happen? That's where that spiritual warfare comes in, because it is so deep. And that's why all of us who are believers should sit down and continue to pray for each other and for people, because how do human beings harm human beings? I know there's always been a war from the beginning, and I know I'm going off, but the thing is she is a human being. You are a human being. My grandparents, I'm a human being. Every woman here on this platform, we are human beings. God created every single one of us. Not everyone is going to agree that God is God, but I'm going to tell you, I know who he is.
I know who he is, or she, she is, right? Thank you for answering that. I super appreciate it. And what you're saying is it's really kind of clear in my head. Our humanity is being assaulted every single day. Every day. So we've got to save ourselves. Thank you so much, Sheila E. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Stick around for Girl Chat. We're going to move on to our next, dare I say diva? Dare I say it? 10 world tours, 5 top 10 albums, and command performances for 3 U.S. presidents. This 4-time Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter, who has obtained 23 Grammy nominations, is ahead of her time. She is one of our most prolific voices in music, and she is recognized as a major influence for a new generation of socially aware artists. She is an evocative creative force on a mission to spread healing, peace, and love through the power of words and music, meshed with her signature style of soul, folk, pop, R&B, and hip hop. Her most recent project, Worthy, marks her first full-length solo album in 5 years and features the R&B hit Steady Love. Please welcome, I Am Not My Hair, Miss India.Arie. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
You came in all chill. How are you, sis?
I mean, as you were reading that, I was like, is she talking about me? What?
What you done forgot?
I mean, you know, you just be working.
I know. Just
how it
blessing
is.
us with your music, right? Just blessing those people.
Oh gosh, thank you.
Well, I'm one of those people that's just like every album just on loop all the time, and I appreciate your contribution to healing us. It's very important, especially through music. Please tell me, let's go to your video first. Let's check out your video.
Lots of reasons why I vote, but I want to tell you about my grandmother, Ernestine McMullen, who was born in 1933 in the Jim Crow South, and who at the end of her life was a superdelegate in Barack Obama's second campaign, who migrated in the Great Migration with a husband and 2 children as a teenager, was the mother of 8 by the time she was 27, and then became the mother of thousands. When drugs hit the Black community, she taught herself how to navigate the social services system in Lansing, Michigan, thereby taking care of the needs of thousands. Who was at the March on Washington and saw the I Have a Dream speech, and who in the 80s became a politician and ran for Congress. And in her 50s, taught herself how to become a drug abuse counselor in a therapeutic setting. And you know they told her she couldn't do it, right? This is why we vote. Tough Women in Strange Times, Twist 2020. Plan your vote.
No, I should. Oh, we were sorry. You were just all stuck talking about Ready for Love. And we are ready for love globally at this point, aren't we, India? Aren't we?
We.
Woo!
There's never a time when love is not the highest energy. It's just sometimes we need to remind ourselves that all we have to do is use it.
Yeah. Because all there is love, right?
Is that true?
Supposed to be. All that matters is love.
You know, I would have said yes to that last year. And after this year has caused me to look at my spiritual beliefs and my just beliefs about my beliefs. This year has caused me to look at my beliefs in a different way. And I'm feeling now that I don't know, ask me next year how I feel then, but right now, this year, for the first time in my life, I'm feeling like duality is the nature of this planet. And that's why there's always going to be a rub between
Yang,
things, right? Right. And so I feel like right now, the way the world is, that there's this duality between dark and light. And the reason why we need to vote is because all of those who work for the side of the light, we need to stand up now. It's not enough to just know that you feel it. You have to show it.
Yes.
And actually, I texted Ledisi after her talk because I was really inspired by what she said here tonight. And I said, it's time for us to stop practicing our spiritual practices and use them. This is what we do spiritual practices for a time just like this. And so love is all there is when you're a person who believes in that. And it's time for us, those of us who believe that love is the highest energy in the universe, to use it out loud.
You know, so important. And you just made me think about something that I keep saying. Now's the time not just to love, but to like have warrior love, right? Because you got to meet fire with fire. So if there's fire and injustice and hate, the love has to be just as loud.
Just as loud.
Just as powerful. How are you illuminating your love so that it's powerful and loud and people are feeling the reverberations in their ears?
I mean, with the political situation, we all need to vote, and I am voting. And I have to say that when we saw Michelle Obama speak during the, whatever that moment was, I can't remember the moment now, but when we saw her speak, and she said, just go right now and just sign up. I went right now and just signed up. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes I think it's, because the word I would use is that it's time to be bold. And I think that I've always done that. I used what I had at wherever I was with my level of understanding. Every song I've ever sang means something that comes from my lineage. We can perhaps get into that. But now I continue to have my music. I have my vote. I'm here with y'all. I'm doing my best to be even bolder than I've been over the last 20 years about what I believe. Because like Ledisi said, there are certain parts of myself that I would hide just because it felt right. Sure. And now a lot of those things I don't hide, but it's because it's time to stop our spiritual practices and to be it. And so I'm just being bolder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I support you in that because you are so powerful already. Let us feel it. You. It's okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
We take it from you. Tell me about this beautiful picture behind you.
This is my grandparents. This is my maternal grandparents. My grandfather, Walter McMullen, whose birthday was just 2 days ago. He would have been 87, I think. And this is my grandmother, Ernestine McMullen, who I talked about in my video. Yes. The reason why I chose this picture is because I hadn't seen this picture until last year, and I look just like her here. And the thing that I think is important to remember is that we don't just walk in the footsteps of our ancestors. We will one day too be ancestors. And so although some of the choices we make and the things we do, we will not live to see the flowering of that fruit or that tree, we still do it because we believe in it. And my grandmother was, she had a dynamic life. She was born in 1933. I said this in my video. And she was also a politician. She became a politician because she just wanted to help people. She worked the social services system, helping, we estimate 100,000 people get their social services in Lansing, Michigan. She was born in the Jim Crow South. So, she didn't have that kind of education. She was just brilliant. And the thing I didn't get to say in my video that I loved about my grandmother's journey is that she told me this story sitting at my mother's kitchen table a few years before she passed away. She said that she was sitting with her mother, Susie Roach. She was sitting with her mother, and her mother looked off into the distance and said, there's something coming. It's going to last a long time. It's going to kill a lot of people. And so my grandmother said when drugs hit the Black community in Lansing, she knew that's what her mother was predicting. And so she became a mother to the community. She helped everyone get what they needed, their social services and stuff. But what she did, and I said this in my video, what she eventually did was in her late 50s, she got a degree to practice drug abuse counseling in first of all, she didn't get a degree. She took the placement test and just aced it because that's who she was. And they told her she couldn't do it because, you know, they told her that she couldn't.
Sure.
But she aced the test, got the papers, and became a drug abuse counselor in a therapeutic setting because she
Love
just
that.
had grown to that point. But and what I want to say is that what she exemplifies a lot of things to me. But what I think of when I think of her whole life journey, my grandmother was a superdelegate in Barack Obama's second campaign, just like all kind of things she did. She ran for Congress, all kind of things. But when I think of her life journey, I think about how important it is for us to not let pessimism have us believe that things don't change. It may be slower than you want to see, but we have to trust and have hope and faith that things change, however slowly. But also, I think that there's that conversation going around about people who are woke, and your voting doesn't matter, and the white man's gonna do this, that woke thing. And so as a songwriter, I get this from my mother too, because my mother is like the queen of the one-liners. By the way, hi Mom, I know she's watching. So I had something come through my head one day, and I said, don't be so woke that you lose hope, vote. Because even if you're not sure, even if you don't know, find a place in yourself where you can believe that things will change, however slow. In my grandmother's life, all of our ancestors' lives are a testament to that. Because we're all sitting here today, and there's so much we don't know about our ancestry, but we come from something. So things obviously change. You know, so I think vote, even if you're not sure, do what you feel is right, because in this spiritual war, this battle between dark and light that I think was always going to be going on this planet, you stand up for the light and do what you feel is right. Just do it.
Absolutely. Last question. I mean, I can sit and talk to you all day. Last question for you. Because I'm a light worker as well. As a light worker, how are you taking care of yourself? Because this is exhausting work. And if you consider yourself an empath, like every day you're like, I need an 8-hour nap. How are you help people get through this day by day, staying hopeful, staying centered, spreading the light? What is your advice on that?
This has been an interesting year for me, this whole quarantine, social distancing era, because it's given me time to rest my nervous system, because I am an empath and I feel everything that's around me. I feel everyone that's around me. And I have spent the last 20 years really being tired, like really tired. And I'm learning that there's a difference between rest and sleep. Have you ever been so tired that you're like, I'm about to go sleep for 13 hours. I don't care. But then you wake up 4 hours later because that's all you needed. And so I'm learning the difference between rest and sleep. And so during this time, with everything that's going on and all the ways that it hits me, I've always been like that. I've always been afraid for humanity. That's why I make the music I make, because I would always feel the collective stuff and think, what can I do to shift this? What can I do? What part can I do? And so feeling all this is not different to me. I think this might be an unpopular thing to say, but I'm actually pleased that the boil has come to the top and is being lanced, so we can just see what it is and get all the junk out. And so I keep looking at what's going on, like, okay, I don't like the growing pains. I don't like the stinky pus coming out of this thing, but I like the fact that it's not just covered up under the skin. People can deny that it happened, that racism is over, because it's out. And so I don't like it, and it is hurting me, but I take as much time as I can to rest. And what I have found for me in the spiritual journey is finding what works for you. And what I found for me that works for my nervous system, not sleep, but rest, is therapeutic heat. So I do a lot of hot showers. I do a lot of sauna, because it does something for my nervous system. And there are times when I'll sit on my couch and I'll feel like this wave of emotion. It literally goes across my chest, and I just like start crying, and I just let myself cry. And when the cry is over, I do something else.
India.
But I also, sorry. The last thing I'm going to say, I know it's time for me to go.
Go for it.
I have not been making music.
No,
because I didn't want to force myself to try to speak to the times. But when I listened to my album Worthy, I said a lot of what is happening in these times. I even have a song with Kamala's name in it. I have a song that's like, I have a song called Roller Coaster. Y'all can see it on my YouTube, but it really talks about the moment. So I'm just sitting back knowing that I will do my work when it's time again.
Yes.
And right now I'm resting.
you're kind of you're like a, what do they call it? You could see the future a little bit, right? So
I just trust what I feel in that moment. I don't know if I see the future. I trust what's in the moment. Last year was my time to say those things. Yeah. So now I'm watching and being available. I'm so happy that Patti Austin called me. I said yes before she told me what it was.
You're that person.
I was like, yes, what? Like, after I screamed, I literally, when she called, literally screamed. I don't scream often. So, and I'm here, and I'm happy to be here. This is something that I think is therapeutic for me, to be having these conversations with y'all.
It is therapeutic for all of us. Thank you so much, India. I so appreciate it. We're going to move on to our next fabulous sister, peerless, timeless, and classic, with more than 22 recorded albums and 10 #1 Billboard charted hit songs. This artist is one of the most celebrated musicians in the world. She has influenced generations of singers. The late, great Miles Davis often said, "She sings like my horn." And the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, said, "She is a one-of-a-kind premier vocalist." Well, that's an endorsement. This songwriter, author, philanthropist, entrepreneur, activist, and 10-time Grammy Award winner is known affectionately around the world simply as Chaka, or Chaka Khan. Chaka Khan, as I like to call her. Chaka, Mama Bear, where are you? I can't see you. I have to find you.
Okay.
That is the reason I sing.
Who was that? Was that India?
Siedah.
Oh, Siedah, yes. Chaka is a lot of people's inspiration. Chaka actually blessed my belly, and I see Chaka in my little 6-year-old. So
yes,
thanks
honey,
for that, Chaka.
I've been looking at her. I've been watching her online. And
she is something. How are you, Mama?
How you doing? I'm good.
You look beautiful. You feeling good these days?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. Yeah, I just, I've just been banned from doing all live interviewing for a while.
Why? I'm not going to lead you astray, but just say whatever you want, girl.
That was a joke. I'm really isn't.
You're fine with me. I love that because, I did this little documentary on you, so I know about your history in activism. We're going to check out your video real quick, and then we'll come back and chat, okay?
Hi, I'm from Chicago, and I'm an activist. I've been an activist most of my life. I was with the Black Panthers. I started a free breakfast for children's program there. My grandmother was a woman of the world. She was a writer. She was a world traveler, and she insisted that my mother vote. My mother also insisted that I vote, and I insist that my children all vote. And if you're having a hard time trying to think of a good reason to vote, think back on the people that died for us. You gotta vote. Plan your vote, Twist 2020. Tough women in strange times.
Chaka, tell me about this picture behind you. I know you love your mom. You guys have had a very interesting
relationship. My mother here.
Yes, you guys are good today. Tell me about your mom and your grandma in that picture and how they inspire you.
This is my grandmother, Maud, and she was the matriarch of the family. She was the one that pretty much dictated, pretty much what we would do. She was the one that when when paychecks didn't come and stuff, she'd come over with bags of food, for everybody, buy our winter coats every year, and things like that. But she worked at the post office, most of her adult life. And she was also an entrepreneur and a writer. She wrote for, I forget the magazine. Dang. Anyway, she also traveled a great deal. She was the first relative besides my father, which he went after her. Yeah, she was our first relative to actually travel outside the United States, went to Africa.
Who had a passport, huh?
Dig that.
Yeah.
And she was our voice of reason. She said, she told my mother when she voted, and when my mother grew up, she made sure that my mother voted. And when I grew up, my mother made sure I voted. I love that. So it's just been, and we, this isn't the first time, we have slim pickings, okay? But when there were slim pickings, what you do is you vote for the honor that has been granted us, that freedom by people who have died to make it so for us.
Absolutely.
Ancestors who have gone on before us, who made it possible. So that's the reason that I vote, because I have to.
You have to. You come from such powerful women, and I know your mom is very strong too, which probably led you to being part of the Black Panther Party when you were how old?
Oh God, I was like 16, around 16.
16.
I was cutting classes. I had to cut my first class in order to feed. I started a free breakfast program in Chicago, and I had to cut my first class every day just to go and feed those kids. It was the most wonderful thing for me. And I was a Black Panther, and I used to sell papers. They wouldn't let me do much because I was so young.
But you were sassy and about it, ready to do.
I was about it, and I went to all my rallies. I was at Loop City College, every evening watching Battle of the Algiers. That was our favorite film. Fred, Brother Fred was my great friend who was a martyr for the cause. And I knew a lot of great men and great women. I met Angela many years ago, just genuflected, so she probably didn't see me. I'm so short. And short people genuflect, you don't get seen.
Chaka, love it.
But she has always been my Mother Teresa as well, for the struggle. So.
Yeah, people sometimes don't realize how connected you are to activism and changing our world. Are you inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement, and in what way?
Absolutely. Well, actually, when that boy got killed, we started a whole movement when the first
George Floyd.
No, it wasn't Floyd. I'm talking.
Ahmaud Arbery.
Maybe.
Okay. Was he jogging?
We made T-shirts. We had a whole thing. We did a video. Sorry.
Tamir Rice.
Anyway, Tammy knows his name. I can't remember his name.
Oh, did she say Tamir Rice?
Trayvon.
Oh, Trayvon Martin. Yes.
I went on a lot of rallies with his parents. We did a whole campaign for awareness of how our Black men are endangered species. Men of color, our brown men, our Black men, all our men of color are endangered species in this country, and that's got to stop. So, yeah.
100%. In your video, you talk a lot about your grandmother and your mother. How are you impressing upon Milani and your grandchildren to stay in this game, to stay in the fight?
I don't have to say a word. These children were born with some kind of extrasensory perception going on as to they want to march. They want to be involved in the struggle.
Yeah.
My daughter was like really pissed off when I told, when she was younger, saying, well, you guys got to really, express your views, politically. You got to march. You got to go to rallies. We don't get to do all that stuff. I said, you will. I said, and if you get mad about something, or something affects you profoundly enough, you'll go and do it yourself.
Yeah. Now's the time. Everyone's getting an opportunity to speak their truth, speak their voice into power, which is just what it is these days. And, Ledisi spoke about it. So did India, about how they like to keep some things private. Has this been really hard for you too, coming out and being really vocal about politics and voting?
Well, you know what? I have all you have to do is ask me, because I don't have that.
You ain't scared.
I don't have that mechanism. It says, hold on to this. I do live in the moment, like India. I am so just in the moment. And if the creator talks to me, or spirits talk to me, or whatever, my ancestors talk to me, or I talk to myself,
Yes.
My higher self. We have a conversation, and it tells me just something. I just gotta go, and I'm about it. I'm just all about it. That's it.
I love that. You know, I love you. Do we look alike, y'all? Do we look alike?
I'm sure that we cousin some kind of way back there.
Girl, people are like, no, Nicki Minaj. I'd be like, hello.
Well, we got a lot going on. Yeah.
And I love it every single time. I love you. Stay still, stay right there, because you're going to be getting into some girl chat in a little bit, okay?
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Oh, God.
Go meditate, Chaka. She'll be right with you, okay? All right, sis, I love you. We're
Love
going
you
to
too.
continue on.
I love you too, girl.
With an illustrious career spanning 4 decades, this gifted and multifaceted music and entertainment legend has always bridged music genres, from the concert stage to Broadway to the West End, while at the same time pioneering a career on both the big and small screens. She is a 3-time Grammy Award winner, a Tony Award winner, and Nia Jazz Masters recipient. She continues her global community outreach as a Goodwill Ambassador to the United Nations Food Agriculture Organization. Unfortunately, Miss Bridgewater could not be with us this evening, but we would like to share her video, This Is Why I Love. Here it is.
I was a teenager when we went from Negro to Black, but Black is beautiful. I sported a big afro. I joined the Black Panther Party. At Michigan State University, I helped serve breakfast to inner city school children, one of the Panther Party's community service programs. Black power, baby. The struggle is real. It is evidenced all across these ununited states. Police brutality is increasing. Hate crimes are accelerating, lifting the veil on systemic racism. Listen to me. If you want to change what's going on in this country, then you have got to vote. Vote for you. Vote for your family. Vote for us. But vote. Plan your vote. Twist 2020. Vote. Tough women in strange times.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. We're going to bring Patti back. Hi, Mama. This has been such an incredible event.
Here we are.
Hi. I want everyone to see your video. We haven't seen your video yet, right?
I don't think so. You would remember. It's very weird.
No, it's not. Let's get into it.
The lady in that picture is Edna. I'm Edna's daughter. She was rocking Harlem in her 20s, and I'm over here trying to rock whatever I can in my 70s, but feeling a little shaky about it. And so I complained to a friend a few weeks ago that I didn't see how I was going to be able to get out there and physically vote. I'm 70. I have asthma. I've already had pneumonia. I don't know if I'm going to sing again. And my friend said, "What's your mother's name?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "What's your mother's name?" I said, "Edna." She said, "Am I talking to Edna's daughter or an imposter?" And I realized, I'm Edna's daughter. Of course I'm voting. Of course I'm doing whatever I gotta do. You've got to be Edna's daughter too, or Mary's daughter, or Sally's daughter. And remember, all of the Black girl magic our beautiful African queens have infused into our souls. It's time for us to rise up and do what we do best. Vote. Edna's daughter, signing off. Voting.
That wasn't weird. What are you talking about?
Okay.
It was classic Patti, okay?
Hopefully it was inspirational in some magical way.
I want to
But
jump.
listen.
Yes.
Tanika, I want to kind of open the floor for everybody because we've all got, oh gosh, everybody's doing so many things with their children and their aunties and their mommies and their friends. And so we want to just have, first of all, everybody on screen that's still with us. Is everybody still with us? Can we pop all of our Brady Bunch back?
Everybody turn their videos back on. Let's do it. Patti.
Ooh, look out.
Ledisi, Siedah, Terri, if she's still here, Sheila E, India, and Chaka. Roll call.
Roll call.
Yeah. Yo, we're
Now,
beautiful.
I heard a rumor that we cannot all talk at once, but I would like each one of us, because I'm going to do my reenactment of of Angela Davis joining us tonight because we weren't sure that she'd be able to because she was fulfilling a familial relationship, which is what we all do first. But this is my imitation of what I did when Angela came on tonight. Hold your ears. Okay. Who's next?
No, I was freaking out. I was like,
Can we see your I like it. Yeah.
She was awesome.
Okay. Who else? Who else? Give it up.
I was like this.
It's like
India.
I was
India,
like,
you were so beautiful. All of you, Chaka. I mean, it was so fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. This is great. This is really a great night for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a great night for all of us. And I have to tell you that every time we get together, there is so much ridiculous mutual admiration and love and respect. And we've all worked together in different ways, live on stage, in studios,
writing
songs, you know, just in all different levels, producing stuff together. And I just know about the treasure trove that exists in all of these women. They are so powerful and so strong and so amazing and so funny. And most of our fans know us from our music, but there's so much more going on than just the music. And now that we're a bunch of old bitches, we feel that we can.
Hey, for yourself, you old bitch.
I'm sorry.
Well, you got the anti-experience, people. I gotta say, Patti, I don't want to cut you off, babe, but we are like we're an hour over time right now.
We're Black women. We talk as long as we need to.
We can talk as long as we need. I just want to give you like steps. So I want you guys to have girl chat. I want you guys to wish Kamala happy birthday. I don't think we're going to sing. We want to make sure that we give people the I vote challenge, right? So please
tell them about. But wait, Tanika, why don't you tell them about the challenge?
I will. The Women of Twist would like to encourage you to record your video challenge. This is why I vote, which may be featured on Twist 2020 social media platforms. For more information and instructions to participate, go to www.twist2020.com. And guess what?
What?
Video too, because I had to feel like I was part of the crew.
What? Video from you yet?
You want to see it?
Okay.
Yeah. Here we go.
So this is why we vote. I'm a mom. I'm Nyla's mom. And I'm voting for her. And I'm voting for all the women that came before me that fought so hard to earn us the right to vote. I remember when I was 18, my mom gave me this whole history lesson. It's so important. And I was like, whatever. What a luxurious place to be when the world wasn't on fire. But this is 2020 and the world is on fire. And this is the most important election of our lives. So remember, if it wasn't important, then the gerrymandering wouldn't be in effect. Then they wouldn't be cheating at the boxes. Then they wouldn't be stealing ballot boxes. They wouldn't be, accidentally cutting cable cords at registration boxes. So we have to use all of that information and go, it must be important. So use your single most important power and vote. Are you gonna vote?
Yeah.
You wish you could, huh? But I'm gonna vote for her.
Could do that.
So you guys all did videos with your beautiful grandmothers and great grandmothers. I decided to take it to the next generation after me and my daughter.
Yeah, we saw that. Using your child as a shield.
Pick them out. I'm trying to
for
be
us to love you more.
Never too early. But she's, I have to say, these kids that are being born now are on a whole other level.
Yes.
They're
Right.
coming out with their eyes
Right.
wide open. They're not
True.
having this BS that's going
That's
on.
right.
I think it's really important for us to encourage them to speak voice into power. And one of our sisters, Miss Kamala Harris, it's her birthday today. So I would love for you guys to spread some love to her. Take it away, Patti.
Happy birthday, Kamala. I love you so much.
She took my line. Happy birthday, Kamala. I love you so much too.
Happy birthday, Kamala. Oaktown representing in the house.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Kamala. Happy birthday.
Happy rotations around the sun, Kamala.
Happy birthday, Kamala.
Kamala, I'm a friend of Tim Szilard, and he would want me to wish you the happiest of birthdays. Happy birthday, sis.
Happy birthday, Kamala. All the best to you. Keep kicking butt. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Happy. We're glad you were born.
Amen.
Now go, you know what?
Happy birthday, Kamala!
I mean, come on, Patti. I know we're not going to do a birthday song, but
and hopefully we're doing the same thing November 3rd, right?
Absolutely.
come on, Patti. Just sing the Kamala birthday song one time.
Before we leave, I just want to say one thing. We're not going to know anything on election day, so simmer down now, as they used to say on SNL. You got to simmer down now.
Simmer down.
It's going to take a minute. It's going to be ugly. We're going to have a lot of court cases. My boy is going to try to stay in. He constantly lives his life delaying the inevitable, but the inevitable is coming. Eventually, not only his face will be orange, but so will his jumpsuit. So I say to you, show up. Vote. Make sure you don't have a Nazi in your White House, because that's what you're going to have if you vote the wrong way. And we can get through this. And we're going to get through this. And people like us, girls who sing, who have a voice, who know what to say with or without music, we will be here for you. And I just want to let you guys know we're going to try to do this more, because I notice that whenever we are given the opportunity to talk about ourselves and our issues, we open up, even if we don't want to. Because if the person next to us starts sharing, you kind of feel a little guilty. It's like, well, something like that happened to me. And we need to have more of those conversations with each other so that we can grow. We've gotten rid of our fire circle at the end of every day, as Indigenous people have always had. We must bring that back. We've got a format that we've been forced into because of a virus that ironically makes it necessary for us to cover our mouths, our nose, and our eyes. But we got 2 ears. You don't have to cover those. So that means we got to start listening to each other. That's more of what we have anatomically. So apparently the construction in the first place was done to make it so that we hear more than we talk. This from a person who never shuts the hell up. But anyway. So onward and upward. We want to leave you. We were going to try to sing happy birthday to Kamala, by the way, because I believe in truth in show business. We couldn't do it because white man's magic is not strong enough yet. The means that we use to communicate now. We're going back to smoke signals before it's all over, by the way. I'm just letting you know. I'm working on my smoke. But before we go, we want to leave you guys with, we've had one of our amazing sheroes on tonight. I don't know what we did to be so blessed, but I had a tremendous relationship with Maya Angelou. And when we did our very first bit with LOVE, Let One Voice Emerge, I asked Maya if she would give us a battle cry, something to inspire us. So from what I know at this point is Maya's loftiest perch. This is a message from 2012, still rings true, from our Empress, longer bloodlines, y'all, Maya Angelou. We love you.
My name is Maya Angelou, and I'm here to speak the good word, stand on the good foot, to encourage you, to support us all. We have to teach young women the necessary lessons they need so that they will be their own advocates. Your vote is powerful. Don't underestimate your vote any more than you underestimate yourself. Don't do that. Get up, get out, and get counted. Sisters, let us support each other. Let us stand up and say, I can be counted. And I'm asking on all of you as women, please support yourselves. I'm Maya Angelou. Thank you.